very good afternoon once more from Sydney Harbour, a quiet Sydney Harbour, an overcast Sydney Harbour for race 2 of the 18-foot skiff season. And I'm Peter Shipway on behalf of the Sail Media team. We have pleasure in bringing this race to you. It's the race today for the Alf Bichel Trophy, a famous name in 18-foot skiff sailing and a famous name in Australian sailing, the Bichel family. A little bit more of that later. And today's sponsor is the Kitchen Maker. And we'll get a little bit of an overview of the weather shortly, but a little bit of breaking news. If you're watching our stream last week, you would have heard that I mentioned that our resident weather forecaster, Andrew Buckland, who is with us again today, gave us a bit of an overview of the weather, and I told you that during the off-season he'd been studying weather forecasting to try and get his average up. He did okay last week, but this morning I had a phone call from his lecturer, and he was a very polite fellow, and he tracked me down. And he told me that Andrew was a very, very good student. He learnt quite quickly. However, the only subject he failed was his offshore water temperature course. So today, Andrew, we'll give you an opportunity to give us the water temperature off Lord Howe Island. I know your lecturer's listening. And talk about the weather in general. So, Andrew, over to you. Good afternoon.
Gee, Pete, with a launch tremble like that, how could a bloke fail? Right?
Well, you did. That's what you told me.
Oh, well. All right, folks. Water temperature and land of the hibernating coral, Lord Howe Island. Good question. 21C, I'm reliably told this morning. As distinct from off Sydney, slightly warmer off Sydney than off Lord Howe at this present moment, Pete. How'd I go?
Well, see, we're not sailing at Lord Howe. I don't really know. But anyway, have a go out here.
All right. So,
give us the wind. Give us the wind.
Sydney Harbour water temperature, surface level here, according to our instruments, 19 degrees in round figures. And rather a complex, funny old little trophy thing hanging around Sydney. So northeasterly flow to the north of Sydney and southwesterly flow to the south of Sydney, more or less. And we think we might end up with something like 150, 160, 170 for the race today. Probably not going to be too windy, but yeah, could be range 5 to 18, and it might cover it, and tide flooding all day.
Okay, well, thanks, Andrew. Before we hear from Jimmy Bury, all skiffs would be on their big rigs today, given what they're looking at the moment. The forecast earlier, or yesterday, was for a good bouncy nor'easter, which it was on the harbour, Sydney Harbour yesterday, but it's far from that today. So we say good afternoon to Jimmy Bury. Run us through the course today, Jimmy.
G'day, Shippo. Yeah, the starters just pulled the board back in, which has the compass bearing on it, but they've got us on a 6/3, which is windward leeward. So they've got us, where are we, down in Taylors Bay today, so at the moment, that's where we're starting. We should probably be going up into Rose Bay, I dare say, at this point, but they haven't given us a bearing, but it'll be 3 laps, and hopefully we do get the little bit of upper breeze level so it's not like, as you can see there with Birkenhead Point Marina, like just sitting there, there's not much breeze at the moment. So these skiffs are obviously exciting, the top end of whichever rig they're at. And right at the moment, we're right at the bottom end of the rig range.
Yeah, shippers, I mean, what we're looking at here, in the windier bit of the harbour, it's 8 knots, and in the quieter bit, it's 5 knots.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. Well, we saw a very exciting first race last weekend, another 3-boy handicap race, and they sailed in a southeasterly course, and very close finish, which we saw. There's the results from last week. Shaw and Partners, Jim Colley at the helm. That was the old Tech 2 that had a very good win, close win. Lazarus Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones was, I think, about 7 seconds in a rear. Then Yandu 3rd, Burrowang 4th, Smeg 5th. The Oak Double Bay, Fish and Pike, Ilvay, Kitchen Maker, Birkenhead Point, Noakes Blue, 18-footer Bar and Restaurant, and Noakes Youth were the finishers. And this week, Andu, which got damaged a couple of weeks ago on a practice sail when he ran over a submerged yacht in Double Bay. He's back joining the fleet today with John Winning Jr. at the helm. but it's still very light. As Jimmy said, we're in Taylor Bay. There's not much wind to be lucky to be 8 knots at best, and probably more, as Andrew said, 5 or 6. And we're just watching Noakes Youth just drifting downwind, really. Tom Cunnich at the helm there as Birkenhead Point with Kirk Mitchell just going upwind, and there's the committee boat. Just waiting, and you see those flags just hardly moving on the committee boat. But I think there's enough breeze to get a race away. It's just the direction, Andrew, isn't it? Whether it's stable enough to set a course.
No, I think he'd be happy to stick it in now on that sort of south-southeast axis. Be okay. So for the viewers, another boat with new lineup. Yvette Heritage, who'd been steering Noakes Blue, kind of out of action from concussion injury, and but the lineup Noakes Blue for this season, we're told it's permanent. Nathan McNamara, Peter McLeod, and Connor Hay. Now, Nathan and Peter are straight out of Cherubs. Connor Hay, relation to the fleet, Noddy Hay, who was on the main sheet for Johnny Winning for half a century approximately, and a pretty handy shipwright and yachtsman all round. So his nephew on the bow. Big shout out to those boys, and big step up from Cherubs, but good on you for having a crack.
Absolutely. Great to see these newcomers coming into the sport as we're just hearing the hooter going on the committee boat. The AP flag is up, the postponement flag. So it's a hang around and wait. And while we're doing that, I think it's worthwhile giving a bit of history about Alf Bieshel, whose trophy it is today that's being raced for the skiffs. Now, as I said earlier, the Bieshel name, a very famous name in sailing, but Alf Bieshel of 18-footers is synonymous with Alf. He was in the mid-1930s, going back a long while, the league, as we know it, didn't own a clubhouse, but the committee saw an opportunity in the late 1950s to purchase the Island Boat Shed, which was located on the site of the present clubhouse. Now, islands were related to the Messengers, and unfortunately, they soon realised that the club didn't have enough money to secure the purchase, and it looked like an opportunity would be lost to establish a clubhouse. However, Alf Bieshel, who was one of the skippers in the club's fleet at the time, made a really wonderful gesture which changed the situation and secured the future of the 18-footers league clubhouse that we all know today in Double Bay. Alf Bieshel was a draftsman at the Sydney County Council, and he decided that after a meeting one night, he went home and tossed and turned, and he decided that he would retire prematurely and put his superannuation money into securing the purchase on behalf of the league. And certainly without this action by Alf, the 18-footers league clubhouse would not have been the great location that it enjoys today. With the site secured and the clubhouse operational from 1961, Alf Bieshel became the secretary and was active in promoting our iconic 18-foot skiffs to both the United Kingdom and the USA in the late 60s and early 70s. Alf passed away in 1978. Alf's son, Kenny Bieshel, was a world title winner in the 18-foot skiffs, sailing Schema and the Daily Telegraph. And as the current president, John Winning, has said, that we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Alf Bieshel. And actually, John Woody Winning, who's skippering Yandu, had a historical 18-footer built and races presently as Al Ruth, which is the combination of Alf and his wife Ruth's names, every weekend during the summer months on Sydney Harbour. So the Bieshel name, and certainly Alf Bieshel, is remembered fondly by all the 18-footers and past and present sailors, that's for sure.
And Pete, I think we've mentioned it before, but Alf was a keen student of yachting as well, and his weekly race reports, post-race reports of the 18-footer race each Sunday from the league at Double Bay were pieces of literature.
He used to do a sketch of the boats too, didn't he?
Yeah. No, he was fabulous. Amazing man.
A draftsman, but...
yeah. But his written word was fabulous as well as his, pictorial skills.
Well, he was absolutely dedicated to the cause as we watched the fleet still just drifting around, really. We're still under postponement. The starting line is in. And have we seen the marks go in as yet, Jimmy?
No, I haven't. I've got the radio turned on just low, but yeah, I think we will be going up into Rose Bay at this stage.
Yeah. So 3 buoys laid, all distance about 70 metres apart, and if you're a scratch boat or the best, you go to the furthest. If you're on a reasonable handicap, you go to the shortest.
And Shipper's a little flat from last week where we were a little unsure. And for the viewers, apologies for that uncertainty, but there was a bit of misinformation floating around, as to be said, about the order of the marks. And so we're reluctant to be too strongly commenting on which boat, which mark. It's been resolved through the week, and so red, blue, white, and from the nearest to the furthest, and we've got it on a string today.
Well, it provided a very exciting finish, didn't it, last week, when Shaw and Partner, Yandu and Lazarus had to go to the longest mark, and Shaw and Partner went to the middle mark, and it brought them right into play, and Shaw and Partners were good enough to hang on and win the race.
Yeah.
So the handicap is, it's a little bit complicated, but I'll try and do my best and explain it to you. The boat, which is scratch, which probably means on form they are the best boat in the fleet, they will go to the longest or third mark. And then at different boats go to different marks. Like, let's take the scratch boat today. There's 3 on scratch, which is Andu, John Winning Jr., Lazarus and Shaw and Partners, last week's winner. They have got a handicap of scratch. So every time, 3 times round, they will go to the furthest mark. Now, someone like Burrowang Young Henrys, they will go to...
Off 6 minutes.
Off 6 minutes. They will go to the closest mark the first time, and then the middle mark the next 2 times. And the boat with the biggest handicap, say a 10-minute handicap, Lazarus Hugo Stoner, he will go to the shortest mark each 3 times. So it balances itself out, and at the end of the race, whoever crosses the line first will be the winner. So, and next week you'll get penalised if you do well, and you might then go to different longer marks. And probably last week, well, we could see that in what happened last week. In the last time up, Shaw and Partners had to go to the middle mark, which brought him into play. But this week, he's got to go to the longest mark all 3 times. So they adjust the handicap by going to different marks. So I hope that's somewhat clear to you, but that's basically what happens.
Shippo, we just got the board on the back of the start boat is saying 130 degrees.
Okay.
At 1.3 mile.
All right.
So, and you know, for the viewers offshore, 135 in Sydney is not a bad bet for a southeasterly wind, is it, Pete?
That's about right, yeah. About right.
So that'll have us going up into Rose Bay.
Sort of absolutely dead square to the coast, and a bit of Coriolis or whatever else going on to propel that.
So, a couple of shout-outs to regular viewers, even though it's early in the season, but I know they've watched us previous years. So we say hello to Pete Chambers, all the way in the United Kingdom. Pete, I hope you're enjoying it. You're probably standing for Prime Minister. Everyone else seems to be over there. So good luck, and maybe you can give us a shout-out when you're at 10 Downing Street. But anyway, good luck to you, and hope you're enjoying today. And Duncan Mortimer. Duncan, hello to you, another regular viewer. So we're still in Taylor Bay. There's Yandu, 3rd last week. John Winning Woody, who's turned 70 this year, so he's still at it. And crew with John today is Jasper Warren, the man they call Fang, and Josh Probeski.
Didn't get enough punishment last week, Shippo.
No, they said he was quite mild last week, Woody. He didn't raise the voice too much, so they're back again for another shot at it. But it's very light again, Andrew. It's probably lucky to be 7 or 8 knots. Couple of little puffs rolling down. There's Noakes Youth.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, for it to build, it has to get cool. We just got a little bit of cold air now, and we've got clouds which indicate moisture at a pretty low level. So, you know, I'd be reasonably optimistic that A, will race, and B, will get some bits that'll be inverting rig-wise, shall we say, or close to.
Looking, we're at Taylor Bay, just near Bradley's Head, and looking down towards Double Bay, which to the south or southwest is quite heavy cloud down there. It looks like it could be some rain down Botany Bay way. But anyway, that's a fair way off for us. We're in Taylor Bay on the harbour, looking for the start in the second race of the 18-footers this year. And no action as yet. There's the AP, the red and white pennant up on the committee boat.
Oh, they must be getting close.
No, they were just saying on the radio, guys, they're just waiting for the mark boat to get back from up laying the 3 top marks to move the pin mark up. So,
okay, well, that makes sense. Try and get a good true starting line. So it's all off together, and then the fleet will go to different marks up at the windward mark. There's 3 marks that are laid, and we've got the order that they should be going round, so let's hope we can stick to that. And there's Yandu. Just looking upwind for the breeze. There's, to the right, there looks a bit more pressure. Are they? We can't see the marks from our position here in Taylor Bay. Would they be further on than the island? So could you split the course, Andrew, do we think, or not?
Well, you know, 1.3 leg lengths, Jimmy?
yeah, 1.3.
You probably could,
So-
could you?
That's a fair way up.
Yeah.
1.3 from here is on the sand almost.
Yeah, so we're looking, there's the Rose Bay Common, we're looking to the left of Shark Island looking upwind, and looking to the right from where we are, looks a bit of pressure coming down between Shark Island and Point Piper. Balmain Slake there, Henry Larkin, young team, George Richardson and Flynn Toomey.
So George filling in for Miles Davis today.
Yeah, but it looks like it's got some kind of stability here now at about 8 knots. The puff, yeah.
Gee, it's just, isn't it, really? It's very soft. There's Shark Island, the course splitter, as they say, when we go up into Rose Bay. So there may be an option to go left, there may be an option to go right. Where are we going, Andrew?
Well, ship is flood tide. Which way would you go?
No, I've asked the question first, come on. I want to see which way you go, so I'll go the other way. Right? Okay, Jimmy, you have a go.
I'll go right.
Yeah, I think right is correct, Pete. Hard to go left. Less wind on the left edge.
It certainly looks that way.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll roll the dice. I'll go left to see how we go. But I think,
You're by the cappuccino, the Nielsen
Yes.
Park kiosk.
yeah, at the moment, the right, there's a little bit more pressure, isn't there? That's Nielsen Park we're looking at. There's Lazarus.
Yeah, young boys, the development team.
Yeah.
Pete, you know, in this wind, the fetch from the windward shore and the flatter ground over to the ocean,
Oh no, that's the one with Keegan on it.
over the
other one.
over the golf
Is it?
course, means that there will be more wind in the middle of the bay than on the edges.
Yeah.
So that's a full change out on that boat today. Shipper, you got Keegan York steering, Phil Marshall and Harry Bethwaite.
Yeah.
Keegan sailed in a 16-foot skiff Botany Access up at Manly yesterday on the sheet, and believe it or not, got 2 seconds.
Good on him.
Geez, a big.
So he will be eventually racing Finport this
Yeah,
year?
so
is this a new boat, or is it under...
Yeah, he's got a new boat coming, so
Okay.
there's 2 new boats. So you've got a new Rag and Famish coming. The talk around is that should be on the water next week.
The boys have been toiling. We hear a couple of all-nighters, etc. It'll be definitely here next week.
Yep, and then Keegan's one is still to come. So the new Finport will be here in the next couple of weeks, we'd hope.
Boy, I hate to tell you, it's got lighter if that's possible. Look at these boats out here now. If you look middle of the line and to the left, there's very little wind. So just getting back to Keegan York, we'll be sailing, standing in for Marcus Ashley Jones on the Lazarus.
Yep.
As you said,
But Jimmy, the Finport lineup,
Almost. No Gussie Williams at the moment.
no Gussie. What's wrong with Gus?
Gussie sailed very well yesterday up at Manly and got 2 bullets.
So
They were leaps and bounds in front of everyone else.
Well, that's good.
Sailing on the Moon and Yachts with Ruffy Turner and Matty Stenter, so that's their A team for the 16 nationals.
Yeah, that's a lousy combination, isn't it?
So if you remember, Matt sailed on Andu last year on sheep when they won the JJs. So he's not sailing 18s this year. He's on the 16s, concentrating on the 16s.
Yeah, I think Matt's hanging around trying to find a ride. He's very keen. Like, I know he's heavily involved in the Andu Comanche program.
That's the yacht, the big maxi, yep.
So yeah, and they and obviously with Herman wanting to get back on the 18, he's been the one to step off, and Sebi and Sam will take a step forward.
So just coming down, we spoke last week about Shaw and Partners winning the race, and that boat was the Tech 2 of last year that did so well for Jack McCartney. Now, Jack's not racing this year, but there they are with a red stripe on the sail. And but the crew, his crew...
Jim Colley, Simon Hoffman today, and Tom Quigley.
Yeah. They sailed very well last week, and I think Jack's concentrating on his... J70s and Celestial, the TP52, which second in last year's Hobart race, and they're backing up again this year, so I assume Jack's part of that very polished team aboard Celestial. But still on delay here at Taylor Bay.
Well, Pete, the pin is about to be sunk in, so we shouldn't be too far off signals.
So Shaw and Partners will be one to watch today. Pete, Simon Hoffman, he's like another human propeller. He's a brilliant sailor. He's part of the 49er squad. Been watching him sail up at Manly on Craig Nichols' boat, the Typhoon. I think this week was the first time he hasn't won a race in the boat. So he's taken the old Typhoon from a back marker to the front, and then Craig's going to jump back in.
Okay, we're looking at the AP flag to come down, and there it is, right on cue. So we'll be underway shortly with a breeze. What have we got, Andrew? 7 knots at best. Just getting a report in from Cronulla. I don't know the direction, but they've got 10 to 12 knots at Cronulla. So maybe from a
southeast
or something, yeah.
How'd you go with our wind instruments that you were hunting down, Bucko? Drop the ball?
Drop the ball.
Yep, south to south-southeast. Thanks, Rich, for that. So 10 to 12 knots at Cronulla, so probably a little bit more grunt coming under these clouds. Quite stormy clouds looking south. But anyway, we're underway here for the second race. And the AP is down, and we'll soon be coming up to 5 minutes. There we go. It's time to go at the top right of your screen. Today's sponsor is the Kitchen Maker, racing for the Alf Bichel Trophy. Fleet of 16, so where's our money on, boys? Who are we thinking's a good shot today?
Pete, I expect that Andu will be able to win this.
Okay, well, he's got to go to the 3 longest marks, of course.
Yep.
It's a fair distance he's giving away in the lighter air, but Jimmy, what are your thoughts? You get like the Shaw and Partners, do you? They've got to go to the 3 distance marks.
Shaw and Partners, but they've got to go to the longest marks as well. I was thinking someone around like the Burrawang, the Oak, where they've got a bit of haven't got a sail as far.
Yeah.
I think we might see one of them. I think Burrawang, by memory, were they 4th or 5th last week?
Yeah, they were well placed, yeah.
So Birkenhead sailed really well as well. What are they on there? They've got to go
7 minutes.
7. All right, I'll just cover the fleet. How's that?
Yeah.
Just take the lot.
Yeah, just practicing for the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, well, the Birkenhead, that's 7 minutes. They go to the short mark twice and then the middle mark once. And Yandu, John winning, he's on 1 minute. He goes to the middle mark and then the two longest marks. So,
It just depends on how far apart they've got these marks up there, isn't it?
yes.
It's going to be the real telltale. I think, how about if we can hold off until we get to the top the first time to see the distance between the marks?
okay, all right.
We'll have a rebet.
Yeah?
Okay,
The bookie will give us our money
it's coming
back.
up to
won't he?
3
Don't worry.
minutes. 3 minutes, one flag down, 3 flags left. And there's the view. You can see those rather stormy clouds looking out over Bradley's Head and back towards the CBD and the city and Double Bay. It's might be a bit of rain there, I think.
And the breeze building a little, Pete.
Yes. Yeah, I think a few little more spiky bits coming down. We've probably got a good 8 or 9 knots looking up to Shark Island.
Yep.
It's 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go. Tide coming in, so I'll be pushing the fleet left to right as they go upwind.
So, Pete, I think it might be a good plan. The more pressure on the right and right way for the tide is to go into port early.
Well,
Oh, you could do it. You could do either, actually. But,
yeah. There's the start line. You'll just see the pin, leeward pin, that
Bottom
black and
centre
white
screen.
checks there. Centre screen bottom. Yep, 1 minute, just under 2 to go.
still a game of find the wind.
No one wants that leeward end, Andrew.
No.
They just, everyone really wants the windward end. So what's that tell you? They might want to get to the right as quick as they can. So who's going to pull the trigger first with 1:40 to go? Well, they're all up here. Where's Smeg? They're there.
Yeah, Smeg's in there. Just in behind Balmain's Slate is Smeg.
Michael Coxon, he's on the 1 minute handicap, so he goes to the middle mark, then the two longest marks. So they were up or thereabouts last week, but here's all the fleet now with just over a minute to go, all at the windward end. No one really wants to get down there, the leeward end. The most leeward boat is the Birkenhead with 1 minute to go. There's the Hooter. And that's the Birkenhead closest to the bottom of screen. He's got as much runway as he likes to get down there if he wanted to go hammer and tong for the pin, but he
More
holding
pressure,
up there.
more pressure coming, Pete.
Yes,
in the
there
breeze.
is.
Turning left a little bit.
Yeah. So that's what I said, go left. I said, okay, the few pedals are down. Okay, we've got 30 seconds.
It's heading towards a general recall here, Pete, I would say.
Yes. Burrawang's well advanced, as is the 18-footer bar and restaurant. They're starting to behave. Ooh, 20 seconds. 18-footer bar and restaurant looks going to be close.
Hearing some wings banging out there.
Yeah. Is he
So
got anywhere to go?
remember, Pete, it's not the back flag stuff, it's
That's
the middle one.
Middle one. The 18-footer bar and restaurant's over. Burrowang can bail out. How long we got? 3, 2, 1, go.
Plenty of boats over.
What are we going to
At
do?
least 4 boats over, I'd say.
What are we going to do here? One Hooter. There we go. General. Oh, what's happened to Yandu? Crew's fallen off Yandu. Something break or? Just you can see Crew climbing back on Yandu. I think that was it Josh that fell off? Anyway, we'll see what. Bit unusual. No, they look okay. They're not.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was Josh. The fleet going out on starboard, but yeah, the breeze definitely picking up, looking towards Shark Island now, Andrew. We've got 9, 10 knots, and the fleet will come back and do it all again. Same as last week. There was a general, and then they got away nice and cleanly at the second start. So let's hope again that will be the case. It's time-wise, it's just on 3 o'clock in Sydney, which is we're on daylight saving time. So wherever you're watching throughout the world, we hope you're enjoying this coverage with the race that hasn't started yet. It's a grey old day in Sydney, not much breeze at the moment, but we're hoping and anticipating that the breeze will probably get up as the race progresses.
regular bowman on the Yandu, Mike Kennedy Burger, he's stuck overseas at the moment waiting on parts for Scallywag. He's part of the delivery crew. So,
Where's the boat? Hong Kong or?
no, it's where is it? He did say, I can't remember,
Right.
but they're on their way. They're bringing it back to Brisbane for further mods, and chatting to Whitty, he was saying he's got a fair bit of works to do on that boat, and they're bringing it back down to Brizzy to do a lot of it.
Yeah, I think they're mounting a pretty serious campaign for next year's Sydney Hobart race.
Yeah, yep.
I think I think maybe even a new mast, new sails, and a very big program.
$250,000 US for a new main for it.
Okay, that's good.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Not bad if you're a sail maker. Okay, we're just waiting again now. The AP, the flags are down, so we're about to get ready to come into sequence. Have a second go at this start. Have they moved I don't think they've moved the line, Andrew, have they? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay. We're in Taylor Bay, Sydney Harbour, just to the eastern side of Bradley's Head, waiting for the start of the second race of 18-footers season. Handicap 3-boy race, as we're looking at Shaw and Partners, last week's winner. Just under 4 minutes 20 to go. The breeze, still nothing great. It's probably 8 knots at best, maybe 10, looking up to the right of the course a bit. But it's enough to get us underway, that's for sure. It's 4 minutes, and those storm clouds are getting greyer over Sydney. And I think they're slowly coming our way, or around behind us perhaps even.
Very hard right up the top, Pete, of the track now, the wind direction.
Yes, it doesn't look much to the left, does there, really? It's
No, but I mean, we could have some bits of 150 perhaps in the compass wind. 50 magnetic. Interesting. And the presence of the clouds to the west tells you where the cold air is. Definitely more coming as well.
Yep. The sky getting a bit clear, darker, so coming up to 3 minutes. Anyone down the leeward end at the moment?
Hard right, Pete. We're going all right?
You are. I'm just going to waddle out and see have a look at it.
You're just going to sit on the fence and...
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to go left, but I'll just leave my options open.
Son of the great
Exactly.
Phil Barnett up the bow on the Coconut Point.
Yeah. 2:40 to go. And fleet just milling around, the majority up here at the weather end.
And Dan Barnett is very heavily involved in the SES and was up at Lismore and all the places during the floods, helping out with the water rescues, which was a pretty amazing feat.
Yeah, they do a marvellous job, those guys, that's for sure. Boy, they've had some work on this year. Okay, there's Smeg in the middle of the line, just above Noakes. That's Noakes Youth. They might be looking as though looking towards the middle or the pin end. And the fleet, not so bunched this time at the weather end, Andrew. A little bit of spread. Minute 40 to go. Yandu, the most windward boat here, with Andu coming round behind the fleet. That's what he did last year, if you remember. These breezes started to whisker late, got onto port early, went hard right.
Yep.
And then the rest, as they say, was history.
I think we might see a mild repeat of that, Peter, perhaps.
Well, that's what he's looking to do, perhaps, yeah.
Just
The pin's just under that view.
Yeah.
Shippo, just right in the middle of screen.
Yeah.
just coming to 1 minute.
Okay, 1
There it
minute.
is.
The majority, well, again, they're all up the windward end, but there's a bit of spread. They're not quite as clustered at the committee boat. And no one's right down at that pin. 50 seconds or just under. Oh, Andu looks good up at the committee boat. It's father and son up here.
And they're still too close to the line, the front boats.
I think they are with just 35 to go. Fisher Paykel's starting to put his nose out. There's Andu, there's Lazarus up to windward. That's
Still early.
Lazarus, that's Keegan York at the helm of Lazarus. Okay, there's one boat early. Fisher Paykel bailing out, going across the fleet.
The two Noakes boats.
Yeah, we've got 12 seconds to go. I think the 18-footer bar and restaurant's going to be close again. Oh, I think Yandu's going to be okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I think they might be okay.
Wow, 18-footer bar was
18-footer
over.
probably over, yeah. Away on starboard. Yandu got the start, as did Andu. So it's an Andu-Yandu race at the moment. Smeg did okay, jumping out in the middle, or the top third of the fleet.
Poor old Balmain Slate got absolutely
Yeah.
belted.
So
Jimmy, watch him.
it's a clear start. Just, anyway. Oh, these boats here that have tacked and trying to get to the right.
Ilve needs to
They-
look up their rig.
Yeah, their mainsail's inverted. They still haven't seen that. Balmain Slate, no win. Oh, down the other. Fisher Paykel down this end. They don't look pressure free. Out in the middle of the stream, Smeg stepped out nicely. Andu trying to stay above Yandu. Oh, the boats are trying to get across to the right. They're going to get pressure in the moment. They're giving a lot of way to get there. Majority going still out on starboard. It's probably Smeg and Yandu that lead this group. Yandu doing a nice job holding his height. And Andu's going to have to bail out of there shortly, but will he get across Lazarus? Oh, here's a powerboat. Woody would have given them a serve. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang through the waves. There's Lazarus, Andu, Yandu, Smeg, and Shaw and Partners. They'd be the top skiffs at the moment. The boats that have gone right have picked up a bit of pressure, but these boats want the left now. So more breeze coming, Andrew. So we've probably got maybe 10 at times, just
Yeah.
10 knots out of the southeast.
9 or 10, and you can see the crews are fully extended pretty readily.
Yeah.
So
And it's Yandu that's really doing a nice job. Smeg just to leeward of them and slightly advanced. And the red stripe is Shaw and Partners, Jim Colley. And a couple of boats got buried that went down towards the pin end, and Fisher Paykel was one of them. She's way back at the moment. And they're just starting to get rolling now. And still some of the fleet went to the right, and they're still going round off Bradley's Head. Now it's Smeg got a bit of a wriggle on, just starting to poke his nose ahead of Yandu. You wouldn't cross Yandu from there. What are you seeing here, Andrew? What are you-
those three and perhaps Lazarus are all pretty close. So Smeg,
the further they go in here, the breeze is coming up. Look at this breeze now.
Yandu, Andu, and Lazarus.
Yeah.
In good tidal stream, all the boats. So
Yeah.
Stevens, more pressure here where we are. We're travelling adjacent to Andu, and a little more build evident.
Well, he'll be looking for plenty of grub, the Andu. They've got a couple of big boys in the middle and the front of that boat. Smeg's just starting to wriggle away from Yandu a little. He's able to put the foot down a little. Still wouldn't cross Yandu. They're going in towards Steel Point.
I think he's in that powerboat wash there. Probably just advanced him forward on the
Yeah.
Smeg.
I think he might cross, Pete.
Yeah, it's going to be tight.
You know, Woody's Smeg's been sailing high and a little
Yeah,
slower,
he's closed gauge a
but
little, I
close
think.
gauge,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how far will Smeg go? Michael Coxon.
Well, he's lining up to the tip of the point, so that's not a bad spot.
Yeah. Gets a nice tidal flow around the point, push him up. Win. Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson, a new forward hand this year aboard the Smeg. Good job last week.
And the strongest flow appears to be where we are now,
Yeah.
and you just see there on shot, Yandu's main just
Just
starting
a little bit of
bubble,
flop.
bit of bubble.
And
so-
we've got 10 knots plus here.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, this will be the test when Smeg tacks. Will he cross Yandu? I don't think he will. Yandu's got a nice little bit of right hand now. And he's skipped away from his son in the Yandu. Here's the Smeg won't cross from there. Here he comes.
You're about to find out.
Oh, no, money's on Yandu.
It's close, but he'll duck, I think.
Oh. No, I think Yandu's a length or two ahead.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
It is very, very close.
Yeah, just a little dip. Not much in it. There you go. Put the bow back up. Good tight racing again between Yandu and Smeg. And where's the rest of the fleet? Wow.
Cocko and Co will fancy their chances here. Get out to the right. There is more pressure against Shark Island in this wind direction typically.
And we got the boys, Jimmy. Where are we?
Yeah, got the boys just laid right up in the middle. So from where we were at the start, they're right off the restaurant.
Oh, okay. Copy that.
So yeah, from the
It's a
start
fair
we couldn't see them because they were exactly behind the island.
It's a long beat, isn't it? It's a good long beat.
Not long, but long enough for 9-10 knots of winds.
So the Smeg, they will go, they're on 1 minute, they'll go blue, white, white. So they'll go to the middle mark first, as will Yandu. So they'll go to the middle mark. So if that pans out. So these boats now coming off Steel Point, and the breeze still at probably 10 knots, maybe 11 at times. Smeg has done a nice job here, as has Shaw and Partners. Can't see him quite yet, Shaw and Partners. He's just covered by Smeg. These clouds over the Harbour Bridge and the CBD. There's Smeg, there's Shaw and Partners, and then behind Shaw and Partners, way in the distance, a couple of those boats that went to the right off the starting line, but at the moment they don't look as though they're going to... Yes, they might.
Is right up here.
Yeah, there's a couple that have gone way up.
Yeah, so to the left of screen,
Yeah,
Ilvay's
we
just
didn't
gone
see
in
the
behind the
Ilvay.
island, and then Balmain Slake's over there, and Royal Oak 4 points.
They could come out smelling roses from what we saw. They just disappeared behind the island. There's a grey skyline there, but Smeg, as Shaw and Partners has tacked off the lighthouse at Shark Island. Smeg will come back on starboard, and I think you'll cross Yandu there.
Yeah, no, and more pressure coming from the right each end, Pete. So
And Andu's
The
dropped
guys-
off the pace.
the guys hard right should come out in front here.
Yeah.
If they're not over
There
the
they are
line.
on the other side of the island.
If they're not over the ley line.
Wow, that's a huge advantage again. Well,
Yeah, breeze gone to 160, I think, roughly.
yeah, and it's getting up fresher all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Yandu tacked under Shaw and Partners. So Smeg's the boat that stepped out from this group. Andu have dropped off the pace. Now, where are these few boats that went up to the right-hand side of the island?
There's Ilvay.
Wow, he's...
He's nearly cracked sheets into the mark from there.
wow.
Cocko will have a bit of a shock. Look over his shoulder.
Well, I think he went with the pack,
Yeah, no, that's
his main
correct.
opposition, but...
You know which
Ilvay
way.
rolled
You
the
know
dice.
which way Cocko's going to go next time now.
Yeah.
Well, there's Ilvay, the leader of the pack that went to the right. There was a couple of them went up there. So Ilvay, Cam Gundy, He goes to the shortest mark, so he's going to have a massive advantage.
Yeah, and Cam, you know, good background on the wood of a 12-footer.
Yeah.
He's been a sheet and a bowman in the 18, but he spent quite a bit of time steering a high-quality 12, so wouldn't expect anything too bad.
He's going to have a massive lead here, Ilve, even without going to the shortest mark.
Johnny Walton, John Cooley, so some good names in the skiff sailing there.
Yeah. Smeg's put the hammer down for that other group, and that's the distance. See Smeg the first with that white righty on the sail, way in the distance. Here's Ilve. He'd probably be over this first mark, I think. Or
Yeah,
pretty
we've got
close
the
to
marks
it.
just here, just to the left of the camera cut at the moment.
So
He's just about to ease the jib.
yeah, you get the jockey pole out, put the spinnaker up in a minute.
Yeah.
He's away. He's away to the races, the old Ilve. The other boat that went up to the is Balmain Slate. They've done okay, and he'd be in the top group as well. But there's Ilve.
Well, Ilve was furthest right earliest.
Yeah,
So
he's over this mark. He's really accelerated now. He's got nice breeze, probably 10, 11 knots over the mark. What could possibly go wrong here?
jib out of the block nicely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Let her rip, brothers and sisters. Jive set. So they could win this race from there if they don't have any little mishaps.
There's Smeg.
Three's building more, Pete.
Yeah. He's way
Smeg's
over that
turn.
mark.
So here's
Yes.
the first test, 2 self jive. Looking all right.
There he goes.
No, he's going to do a barrel away. Wow.
Okay, so Smeg, will he be? Well, Balmain Slake, where's he? What mark's he going to? He goes the middle mark.
Yeah, the
Balmain
blue-
Slake.
the blue one.
He's got the middle one.
But the other guys overstood. He'll be overstood by about the distance between the red and the blue.
Yeah. Smeg's going to the middle mark. Yeah, there's Ilve, if he does this right, he'll have a massive lead.
He needs to jibe.
There's Ilve. He's gone to the races. Smeg's still not at the turning mark, which is the middle of the three. Gee, the boat's going to the white mark, the longest mark. They've got to give away a lot of distance.
It's almost up in Wallara Sailing Club.
It is. Almost at Catalina's restaurant.
Ilve the leader, just setting up to jibe now. And
Okay, we're back to Smeg, who will be... okay, there's someone going to the shortest mark. That's
Royal
the
Oak.
Royal Oak. So
Royal Oak,
he'll
4
be
points.
second. He's doing a jibe set. Smeg's around third. Balmain Slake fourth. Another one went to the right of the island.
So the Oak 4 Pines shippo is on 10-minute handicap, so they're going that red mark all day.
Yep.
so they're on the maximum handicap. So
Yep. And Ilve's on 6 minutes, so 6 minutes is red, blue, blue.
So he goes the middle mark the next 2 times. Okay, Yandu probably... Birkenhead, is that Birkenhead going around the short mark? Kirk Mitchell, he's around.
Yep.
Oh, Lazarus got the wobbles up. Okay, Yandu, there's Smeg and Balmain Slate with the orange chute. Okay,
One
in
of
the
our-
background, Birkenhead's around.
One of our long markers, Scratch Boats, being Shore and Partners, is just coming up to that furthest mark right now.
Oh, that penalised him for winning last week. Gee, he's got to gives away a lot of distance here. But Andrew, Jimmy, you were right. The right-hand side of the island was the way to go.
First time in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, you got it right. I got hammered. Okay, there's Yandu with the red and blue oval on the white spinnaker. He's around. Nice set.
and looking downwind, boys and girls, Ilve on a laid at the bottom, 1 jibe and done.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Well, the big loser out of that, even though he's got to go to the longest mark, was Andu. He seemed to lose his way a bit after up that beat. But he's got to go to the furthest mark, and he'll be about second last. But anyway, these marks sort the fleet out. These different marks. Ilve leads. There's Noakes. Noakes. Yandu. Where's Yandu going into Shark Island? He'll have to jibe shortly. There he goes. And there's the race leader, Ilve. He's about almost 2/3 or just over halfway down the run.
Half.
Yeah. Not the greatest of pressure. He's hunting a bit of pressure there.
Yeah, just a little light spot from the lee of Shark there, and then out the other side he'll have more.
Yeah. The rest of the fleet probably got a bit more pressure than he has. So we're looking at Smeg, who's probably in third or fourth position. You'll see the Balmain Slate go across. Oh no, Smeg's jibed. Yeah, Balmain Slate was coming back on starboard. Good jibe on the Smeg. Balmain Slate jumped him a little bit there, so Balmain Slate's probably second or third, and the Royal Oak Double Bay Four Pines would be second. So Ilve in the distance there, just above the ferry, right in line with Bradley's Head. Hasn't got that much pressure, although he's got 3 on the wire. He's got away from the lee of Shark a little bit. He's got a bit of pressure, but not much. I think he'd probably come back and jibe any moment. Okay, there's the Birkenhead.
Well, Pete, funny things happening here. Breeze has lifted off near the CBD and rotated back to the left a bit, looking upwind. So a bit strange.
Leaders, Ilve's got such a long lead, but the leaders are leading group are starting to run up to him a bit. He's struggling a bit, but anyway, we're on Balmain. There's Ilve. He's just got the puff now. He's been looking for a while. Johnny Morton, John Cooley and Cam Gundy.
He got the puff of the header, Pete. Look at that.
Yeah.
40-degree
Let down.
let down.
Oh.
Add more.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got such a big lead. He's got about a 300 to 400 metre lead.
Well, he's only got about 600 metres to sail.
Yes.
So to the gate.
So there is a gate down here, as Andrew said. You can choose to go left or right mark. And then they go back upwind again. And this time, Ilve will go to the middle mark.
Yep, they go to the middle, and Smeg will go to the white mark. So Balmain Slate might be the sleeper in the pack there, Shippo.
And there's someone right off Steel Point. I think it's the Royal Oak. You'd see him in the distance with a white spinnaker. He's smoking down that shore.
So, Pete, that little bit of puff we saw got compressed against the point there, and the local area around Nilsson Park is now frisky type wind.
Frisky.
Frisky.
It's frisky.
The things
Alex
you
Marinelli
learn.
in the Royal Oak. He's got the hammer down. Look at that. He's got great pressure. Oh, and Ilve's pointing at him now. He's jibed, and you can see the Royal Oak coming round his bow. That'll be not a good sight.
They'll be having a lot of trouble. Oh no, they've got the mainsail across.
Yeah, they've just got this
Just
all.
in no air there, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at the Royal Oak.
He's sailed out of the pressure. The Royal Oak on the lay.
He's in front.
Don't
He's
go
just
where
absolutely
the,
mowed
don't go
them
where the
down.
pressure ain't.
That's really got him. But here we go. Let's see what happens. He'll
So-
go back in pressure again now,
The
Pete.
Royal Oak 10-minute boat. Red.
He goes to the shortest mark each time, so advantage Royal Oak in more ways than one here. So they got the choice. They're about 250, 300 or 200 metres from the gate here. There's the Royal
The
Oak.
gate's very skewed, isn't it?
You just see Ilve now converging with the Royal
he'll
Oak.
won't lead,
He will
Pete.
just lead.
Yeah,
there won't be
yeah.
much in it.
Yeah. No, but he's into the header with pressure
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Breeze rotated quite a long way though, hasn't it?
Yep, there's Yandu. He followed the track of the Royal Oak. He's come back into it too, Yandu.
Yes.
Specs followed Ilve's route and he's run out of breeze. But anyway, we're concentrating on these two. There's the Royal Oak. He'll be second. Ilve will cross in a moment. It's still in the lead. There he is. Still not much pressure. Oh, what's he doing? Jibing.
Dropping.
No, you're going to drop and go to the starboard hand mark.
Oh, okay, it's a relatively early drop. There's not
Yeah.
much
Well, look
wind.
how skewed the
yes,
marks
you'd
are,
have to
Pete.
go to the right-hand mark looking downwind. In the background, you've got a few blokes hammering down.
We have a look at Yandu there, if we can.
There they are.
On
You ask, it happens.
on the lay line, absolutely full
Probably
noise.
under it a little at
Yeah,
times.
possibly.
They got full noise coming down. They're going to get into third spot here.
And these boys are very conservative and too conservative, but they're back in pressure at least, so...
Yeah, so Ilve leads, but his lead has been cut dramatically by the Royal Oak. James Turner and Darcy McCracken with Alex Marinelli on the Royal Oak.
Yeah, James Turner, the Vice Commodore of St George Skiff Club.
All right, well, they've done a pretty good job down that run as Yandu comes in third. You'd have to go to that mark you see there. Balmain Slake fourth. So the boats that went to the right going downwind really made out. Poor old Smeg, he got hammered, as did Lazarus, Birkenhead Point and Andu. There's Yandu. Jibe drop. You just see it's light again here. Andrew, look at that.
Yeah.
Balmain Slake.
But plenty coming and some suspicious looking cloud out to the west
Yeah,
as well.
it's been hanging there for a while.
So it's like 1 of 3.
So there's Yandu third. Balmain, he's fourth. And the Kitchen Maker, today's race sponsor for the Alf Beashall Trophy, he'll be next in fifth spot. Balmain Slake fourth. There's the Kitchen Maker. Ooh.
Well, bit early.
Oh, he's missed the boy. Oh. Well. And remember, in the 18 footers, you can touch the buoy and
Just can't take it with you.
just, that's right, can't tow it. Okay, here are a couple of the Noakes Blue, and there's Shaw and Partners. Don't forget, he went to the longest mark as well, so he's done well to hang in there. Smeg, boy, did they lose out. Still not in the picture yet.
How about Andu, Pete?
And, yes,
Fisher and Pipeful coming in hot on port, which might be problematic.
well, there's a good gaggle here at this mark.
And a good puff
Shaw and
coming.
Partners, yeah.
Good
Fisher
puff
Paykel booming in with his black spinnaker. You'll see him in a moment, just off screen. There he is.
Jibe drop, all good.
And there's good breeze coming down. These boats just starting to get into it now.
Darren McCavanagh from
Fisher
the Kitchen
Paykel.
Maker is on Fisher and Paykel.
Nice work, boys.
Yeah, they did that pretty well, really. Then our last, finally, Smeg's coming in just behind Birkenhead Point. Where's that breeze gone, Andrew? It's just lifted off again here.
Well, yeah, but if 100 yards up the track, it's quite fresh.
Yeah. Everyone going off on starboard. No one's going to go up to the other side of the island this time, which is interesting.
No
Not
wind.
as you want.
There's no wind over
No
there.
apparent wind near the city, Pete.
No, it's not, is it? You can look upwind, as you're right, Jimmy. Up there, there's just nothing. As the three stragglers come down. Andu is third last. Lazarus, and then the Noakes.
So Andu and Lazarus, they both had to go to the furthest mark, playing scratch boats. Yep. So have you got any questions about about the boats, about us, whatever? Feel free to leave them in the comments section, and we'll get back to you. As a lot of you were alluding to last week, where's Tech 2? Tech 2 are no longer here. That boat is now Shaw and Partners with a new crew, so hope that clears that up for a lot of you. It was good to see a lot of comments, but mainly they were around that. So, but it's neither here nor there. But you know, and if you're liking what you're seeing, hit the like button. Do all the fun stuff there on social medias. It's good, and subscribe to the channels. That's the most important part. So
Bits of quite stronger breeze now apparent with big holes, rolling puff structure, I think.
But it's Ilve that stepped out nicely. He's really got the bit between his teeth today, the Ilve. So he's Cam Gundy's got to go to the
Middle.
to the shortest mark first time. Now he's got to go to the middle mark the next 2 times. But
The Royal Oak is right behind him. Got to go to the shortest mark another 2 times. So.
I mean, the belief in the park is that the Ilve quite fast in a straight line. It's just a matter of
going around the corners.
it's a new combination, and the cornering not immediately able to be 100%, but
Anyway, there he is coming off the Steel Point shore on the southern side. You've got a very, very good lead over the Royal Oak and Yandu and Balmain Slate. And more breeze out in the middle of Rose Bay. It's just a bit soft there on the shore. There's
just a
Royal Oak and Yandu behind him, and then Balmain Slate behind her. You can see the streaks of wind, although we're looking back downwind. You can see the light spots in the breeze. There's Ilve. They're still looking for a bit of pressure. They're just going to come into it shortly, I think. Nothing great here.
Yeah, nice breeze in the middle, though, Pete.
Yes, there is.
Nice leaning back big sail, we'd call it. So here we go, travelling with. Johnny Walton and John Cooley. Johnny Walton in the bow. Nice deep main setup, plenty of grunt. Nick Daly setup with Flipper. Michael Carter. So that's why it's actually regarded in the park as being quite quick in a straight line. Looks good.
Yeah.
Got your seal of approval, Bucko?
I don't know, the jib of the half pipe might be a little bit flat, but you know, that's micro tuning.
Micro tuning.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, nice little pressure now. They're just 10 knots and really good runway up to the weather mark. There's no spectator boats or pleasure craft in their way. They've just got a nice little bit more pressure there. And the boat looks pretty nicely set up.
Now they're about to get into a little above range here, I think, for a couple of minutes, for a minute or so.
So no one went up the right-hand side this time of the island.
Funny that, eh?
Yeah. After it gave a massive benefit to Ilve, especially last time. So remembering, he goes to the middle mark. And he's really stepped away from the Royal Oak. And Yandu's probably got himself up into second spot.
Yeah. The Royal Oak setup, not famous for being too good in this downrange stuff from last year, so...
Yandu, remembering, now's got to go to the longest of the 3 marks. So, real disadvantage there. And the Royal Oak, he goes to the shortest mark. So, Royal Oak's just got to hang in there. He'll really benefit from going to the shorter mark. But we're still on the leader, going up into Rose Bay, and there's 10 to perhaps 11 knots at times sou'easter. Sou'easter nicely set up on the Ilve. He's going to have a good lead regardless of what mark he goes to. What's happening in that storm over the city, Andrew? We're going to get affected, or is it going to pass us by?
Well...
It looks a bit dead ahead. The clouds look a bit ugly.
There's no rain close to us, I don't think, so not going to be a big drama.
He's probably going out to try and get a ley line here. He's a little way to go yet. Really nice breeze he's moving into here. It's Rose Bay. We're looking over towards the Rose Bay Convent shore. Boys doing a pretty good job here. They're looking for the lay line to the second or middle mark. Okay, and there's the cavalry coming behind them. Yandu's got himself into second spot. The Royal Oak with the Dark Sails, third. Then Balmain Slake after him. And Ilve not far off attack. Here they go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're through. Yandu moving nicely, lifted above the Royal Oak. Bree's gone left a bit here, Andrew, I think, just slightly. Look at Yandu's heading.
Yeah, well, it was probably 150 and it might have turned left back to about 140 or 135 or something like that.
So Ilve on the tight lay line. I think, he looks pretty good, I think, to lay through.
Yeah, I think he's comfortable.
The Royal Oak, there's Royal Oak tacking. You'll see him in a moment. He goes to the shortest mark. There's Yandu just crossing ahead of the Royal Oak. So the Royal Oak going to the shortest mark. And what's the distance between these two, Andrew? About 60 metres or so?
A bit more. 75 perhaps.
Okay. Okay, Ilve's laying. That's the good news for them. There's the mark just above them. Nice, easy lay.
And a good bit of wind coming for them too.
Yes, there is some nice
so they
pressure.
And comfortable barrelway by the appearance of
So they'll be pretty level when the Royal Oak comes round their mark. Ilve may just still be in the lead. Here they go.
Yep.
They're well eased now. They're around. So they're first around the mark, but in the background you'll see shortly the Royal Oak will round the shorter mark. It's probably even Stevens at the moment. Royal Oak just slightly ahead because they're to leeward. There they go. You can see them. There they go. The Royal Oak Four Pines.
Wow.
Oh, hang on to it, boys. Put the bow down there and stopped. Oh, the jibe setting. Oh, Ilve a bit wobbly, but
Ilve having trouble with the spin.
Windward set.
Windward set.
Yes.
Clue of the chute stuck on the clue of the jib.
Okay, the jibe. No, they're just trying to get out of it.
They're just going to get out of there and get going.
Okay.
So we'd have to call that a draw, wouldn't we, Pete? More or less?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who will be next? Yandu was next on the water, but they've got to go to the furthest mark, so they will be...
Balmain Slate will be next, I think.
Balmain Slake, where are they going to?
Blue, blue, white for Balmain Slake, Pete.
Yeah, blue, blue, white. So, okay, so they go to the middle this time and then the shortest the next time. So they will be third, Balmain Slake. That's a good job by those boys today. Henry Larkin, George Richardson and Flynn Toomey. They've sailed pretty well. They've been there or thereabouts. So they're about 30 metres from their middle turning mark, while
Yandu around the mark now, around the white mark.
Is around the furthest mark. Balmain Slake will be just ahead of them on the water. So the order is Ilve, Royal Oak, Four Pines, Yandu, Balmain Slake, I think, and then the Kitchen Maker. Where's he going to? Which mark's he going to?
Kitchen Maker, I think they go to red. Yandu going over the top of Balmain Slake there.
Okay, Kitchen Maker's, by going to the shortest mark, he's slotted himself into third position. It's Lachlan Steele. Got a nice wine glass in his spinnaker, just come out. We're watching Yandu. He's been there or thereabouts all day. And then there's a next boat round is Noakes. In the distance, seeing Ilve have a few little
and a seaplane coming into land.
Yeah.
In mind. He's decided to abort.
The blue spinnaker was Noakes blue.
Seaplanes aborted.
The seaplane just gone overhead. And here's Smeg. Wow. Boy,
They've got plenty to do.
They've got a lot of work to do. So Smeg's way back. He's got to go to the furthest mark as well. So he's probably day is over as far as getting in the top places is concerned. Now that's Shaw and Partners with the red Spinnaker. Well, they've had to go to the longest mark each time. So from the left, Kitchen Maker, Balmain Slake, Yandu jibe, Kitchen Maker jibe, Balmain Slake jibes. So this is the group battling out for third spot, with Ilvay and the Royal Oak cleared out, although the Royal Oak has cleared out from Ilvay. Okay, that's looking back to Birkenhead Point, an 18-footer, Bar and Grill, Fisher Paykel. They're a fair way back, but things change as they go around that turning mark. And certainly things have changed on the leaderboard up into the front. We have a new leader. Still not a great breeze, just 10, 11 knots perhaps. Ah, there's the leader now. Royal Oak has really jumped away again. He went the same way as he did the first run. He went to the right and now is barrelling into the gate. We've got a ferry coming down, which the ferry looks as though he's changed course a little to go trying to get the skiffs. Oh no, Ilvay's got to come up to go behind the ferry. Royal Oak will get in front of the ferry, so another big advantage to Royal Oak. You see the ferry just come into screen. 1, 2, 3, there he is. So the Ilvay's got to flock the chute to get round the stern of the ferry. The ferry did alter course, there's no doubt about that, to get past between the two boats, so well done to the ferry. But it's Royal Oak that's smoking down into the leeward gate. They've got one more beat, one more run after this. Ilvay just squeezing around the stern. Now remembering, the next beat up, Royal Oak goes to the short mark, Ilvay goes to the middle mark. So a huge advantage now to the Royal Oak, and he'll lead clearly at the gate the second time, and the Kitchen Maker, looking back, has probably got himself into third spot. That's the scene. All the fleet now are round the weather mark and are running down to the leeward gate for the second time. Good pressure here at Ilvay.
Cam's just on the border of the gate here. That's why you can see heating it up a bit.
Yes. Again, you'd go to the right-hand gate, you'd think.
Well, yeah, if they haven't moved them, 100% you would, right?
Yeah.
For Royal Oak shaping up for the jibe drop at the bottom,
Yeah.
might be a bit exciting. It is building the pressure.
Yeah, it's got to keep the boat upright. They're looking good. Okay, let's see how they go.
Pressure on.
Oh, they left it late.
Yeah.
They left it late. Oh, they need to push their envelope there. They're in trouble. The Spinnaker's still up. Oh.
Right at
And
screen.
Ilvay's got a beauty too, coming down. They're booming down at this gate. Ilvay flying down.
Trying to make enough room for a jibe set.
Yes.
Jibe drop.
Royal Oak has still got the Spinnaker half up, or 3/4 of the way up. Still can't get it down. Here goes. There's the Royal Oak. They're leading.
Pete, 85% of the way up.
Yes. Now Ilvay. What are they going to do?
Oh, they'll be
Jibe drop.
smooth as silk.
Well,
Big Johnny Walton, get her in. Uh-oh, yes.
down
done.
it comes. Yeah.
Good
Got the
job.
job done. Oh, not quite.
No, but good patience from the captain.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't turn her up.
And the Royal Oak has
prematurely.
still got the Spinnaker 3/4 of the way up. Well, they got a knot and a halyard. What are they doing, Bucko?
I've got a knot in the halyard, it's called. It's
Yeah,
a
he's
little,
working feverishly in the bow to try and
it's a little
untangle it.
refrain, you know.
Yeah, well, Ilvay have thrown a lot away here. There's a great overhead shot from our boys on the drone. Look at that. You can see it jammed up there near the
The forward end's
spreaders.
in that spinnaker somewhere.
Trying to
on the
untangle.
floor of the boat.
Oh, dear.
Not a very nice place to be.
No.
That's
no.
why we'll never forward ends, right, Bucko?
Okay,
No,
Kitchen
that's
making
right.
round in third, just inside Yandu. And poor old Royal Oak is trying to waddle upwind with the spinnaker up. Still not coming down. But anyway, Ilve in the middle there of the three, he leads. Yandu and Kitchen Maker will be storming up on the Royal Oak. And the next around coming in will be Noakes Blue.
So for the viewers, tough job here for the forward hand. Something wrong with the halyard take-up mechanism.
Oh.
Got to hold the spinnaker with one hand and try and untangle the problem with the other hand.
Yeah, undo knots with one hand.
Yeah,
very
okay.
easy.
Well, there's Noakes Blue, which has done a good job. Nathan McNamara, Peter McLeod and Connor Hay. Next round, Balmain Slate, which is Kirk Mitchell, George Richardson today, and Henry Larkin, George Richardson and Flynn Toomey. They're around.
Pretty handy rounding from those boys.
And finally, we look upwind and the Royal Oak has sorted his problems out. And he's given a lot away, but he's still there or thereabouts. He will go to the shortest mark. So
send a sympathy card to Darcy McCracken, the bowman. Royal Oak.
I reckon it was the guest, James Turner, that tied the knots on him.
Oh, it was Jones, was it? Okay, fair enough.
So there's the 18-footer
So they're going to
bar
do a
restaurant.
They're going
Pedro
to look like they're
Fazzoni,
going to do a jive drop at the wrong side of the gate, but
Pedro,
No,
Cam
Andrew's
Walker,
pointed that he wants the right-hand gate.
Paddy Bannon,
a regulation drop. But
in a bit of wind.
Put a bit of pressure on yourself.
yeah, oh, that's okay. Good
And then
enough.
following him is Birkenhead Point. That's Kirk Mitchell. Andrew Stevenson and Daniel Barnett. Okay, the 18-footers nice and tidy. Birkenhead now. Well, they're all going to this right-hand mark looking downwind. It's a lot shorter. The fleet away in the distance, the leaders, they look as though they're struggling for a bit of pressure as they go back into Steel Point again, but we'll catch up with them shortly as Birkenhead is about a boat length from this turning mark. Here comes Shaw and Partners, last week's winner, barrelling in. Burrawang Hotel behind them. And then out to windward is the Lazarus Youth or development team, getting a bit of the windward wobbles up. Okay, Shaw and Partners next around. It's them with a red slash on the sail. Then the Burrawang, Simon Nern, Warren Sayre and Brandon Beinick. Okay, the Lazarus Capital Development. Next, then Jordan Curtis and Fisher Paykel. Then Noakes Youth.
So, Pete, someone's just asked the question is there somewhere where they can see the crew names and so forth? They can go on the website, which is 18footers.com, click on sailing, and it'll have sponsors, and scroll on down and you'll find the team list. It's not always going to be accurate because obviously different crews jumping in, but the standard or the regular crews will be listed there for you.
Perfect. So there's Andu, last year's JJ champion with Sevi Jarvan at the helm, but he's on the sheet today with John Winning Jr. at the helm and Sam Newton at the bow. Nice tidy rounding. And now next around will be Michael Cox and Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson in the Smeg. They've got a big job ahead of them now. They've got to go to the longest mark again. So both Yandu and Smeg. Oh no, Smeg goes this time. He goes to the
White.
White longest mark.
Blue, white
Yeah.
for 1 minute.
Yeah. So what's this breeze doing, Andrew? It's died again, hasn't it?
Well, it's quite cold air and pretty thick boundary layer, turbulent little rolling cells. But I think this will last the race at least, so they'll get the job done.
Yeah, but it's certainly lighter. It's certainly lighter. So the leaders are right in on the Steel Point shore again. They've gone round the gate and everyone's gone long starboard tack into Steel Point. There's Lazarus Developments. Shore Partners with a red flash in the background. The Burrowang, Fisher Paykel. Then there's Balmain Slate still going in on starboard. He's come away from the leeward mark. He hasn't tacked yet. He'll be not far off a tack there. He would be in 4th or 5th spot. And there's pressure's not that great here now. It's lucky to be 10 knots, probably more like 8 knots. Still enough pressure for the boats to make reasonable progress. There's the Royal Oak. Rose Bay Beach in the background. Royal Oak standing into Shark Island. He'll go just in front of the Spectator ferry. And he's not far off attack. There he goes. And had that lost out badly with that failed Spinnaker drop. But anyway.
The big advantage for him, he's only going to that short mark.
Yeah, that's right. And there'll be the two leaders we'll see in a moment, which is still the Royal Oak and Ilvay. So Royal Oak's done a good job to get himself out of trouble. And Yandu's been the big loser here. He's punched that Steel Point shore looking for the left-hander, and it's...
Royal Oak's got back in front, Pete.
Royal Oak's got in front, yeah. So, after the little kerfuffle at the leeward mark with that Spinnaker, they've obviously got good speed.
So the right edge is paid again, I think.
Yes,
really,
yeah.
You know.
And Noakes has got in front of Yandu, and the Kitchen Maker's probably in front of Yandu. Yandu went back for a couple of nibbles along the shore. It hasn't paid off.
Noakes Blue go to the short mark, which is red.
And Yandu, he goes to the longest mark, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
He's off scratch, so you can cross him out of the podium at this point, I'd say.
Well, breeze up again here. We're watching. There's
Just
Noakes,
another little pulse
blue.
and some more cold air.
Okay, well, you'll see the Royal Oak going to the middle of the course. He's got good pressure. There's Ilvay going right into Shark Island. And he's got as good a pressure as anyone here, the Ilvay, as he gets ready to attack. Now there's the Royal Oak. He's got good pressure out in the middle.
Big righty here.
Yeah, that'll look nice here, Ilvay.
That's it. Yep, good now.
And more pressure coming here. Good 10 knots plus here, Andrew.
Yep. Even probably 14, I think, in the middle of this one.
Got to change gears a bit here.
A big gear change.
Yeah.
From just full stretch to nearly flapping. And he's back in front. On the water, at least. Minus the unwind, of course.
Well, the pressure... No, I think Royal Oak will still crossing.
Wow, he looked like he was for a bit there.
Yeah. Royal Oak moving very nicely.
Well, they like the mid-range and upper.
It's Alex Marinelli, James Turner and Darcy McCracken doing a fine job. Upwind. Just got to hold their nerve downwind. Oh, they've opened up nicely again on Ilvay. Oh, the breeze is as strong as we've seen it here today at the moment, Andrew.
Yep.
At the weather mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little bill that we thought might happen has turned up.
Just got to get this bear away done, Spinnaker up, a couple of jibes and
crack open the bubbly and steal the chocolates.
Yeah, well,
Something like that. Mates all flapping. So there you go, Pete. We've
yeah.
got a little bit of that. So that's about perhaps 14.
Okay, he's a few boat lengths off the lay line. He was going to go to the lay line, and 3,
Tacking in.
2, 1. Here we go, boys. Okay, that's okay. They're still afloat.
Yeah. And set up for the bear away.
Yeah, and good pressure too. They'll go to this first mark. Ilve got to go to the middle mark. So massive advantage now of the Royal Oak. A little is the bear away. They've got to get it done. Look at that. We're right in the cockpit with them. Okay, they're okay there.
It's going to be nearly 2-minute lead, Pete.
It's going to be a good lead.
Yeah.
So Ilve will be second. Then Noakes Blue third. And we've got a tear in the Spinnaker just down near the tack. You can see that tear there. Going to go the distance, Andrew?
Ooh, yeah, just.
Just. Well, not much they can do about it. You can't get it in and repair it.
No.
Just got to hang in and hope.
Worry about it next week.
Yeah, nice breeze. They'll go in towards Steel Point. Yeah, I think that'll be okay, I think. And the second boat is not around yet. It'll be Ilve going around this middle mark. He's just around now, so that is a really big lead on the water.
Noakes Blue, don't forget, Pete, they're up the top mark.
Yeah.
They go around that red mark as well.
So they go to the shortest mark.
Yep.
Noakes Blue. Okay, so he's around. So he's probably second on the water at the moment. Noakes Blue. Nathan McNamara. Okay, that's the jibes done on the Royal Oak. They've got really good pressure. There's Noakes Blue with a tangle. That'll come out. So they're second. Ilve third. And then write your own ticket a bit after that, because boats going everywhere upwind. There's the Kitchen Maker. He looks as though he's going round a mark.
That's the blue time.
So there's Noakes Blue. He's second, trying to hold off a fast coming Ilve. Kitchen Maker would be next. He's around. So there's the third place, Noakes Blue. Shark Island in the distance.
And breeze further right and building.
Further right and building, and the leaders are laying down, probably overlaying the...
No, they've pulled the chute up to get to the finish.
There's Ilve. He's jibed in good... He hasn't jibed yet. He's good pressure. So much pressure he couldn't overlay that mark.
Yeah, the opportunity was for them to jibe earlier.
Early, yeah. But meanwhile, this breeze the best we've seen all day. We've got 12, 13 knots here. So it's going to be a fast
14,
finish.
15, 16 people.
Yes. The gusts are really spiking now.
Yeah.
As we're on the race leader, second race of the 18-footers for this season, and it's the Royal Oak. Doing it in style at the moment.
Good bit of squirt.
Yes. It's going to be a really good squirt here. He might lay the mark with his Spinnaker at the moment if he gets this puff.
It's a nice long line, Pete. I think it'll be okay.
James Turner and Darcy McCracken working hard for skipper Alex Marinelli.
Got one more good puff. Big puff on him now.
Yeah.
And then a bit lighter, I think, toward the bottom.
There's a couple more puffs to get to him yet. Here we go. We're going to go into the cockpit with him. There we go. Great shots.
Feel comfortable there. Pull the jib back on. So they're a bit worried about the lay.
Yeah.
I've been pretty happy with the situation at the moment. It's very comfortable. Here we go. A couple of spikes have gone away from in the breeze, but look at that terrific shot from our drone. Sail Media boys do a wonderful job in bringing these pictures to you. And Spinnaker's going to do the distance, I think, Andrew. Was it maybe got a bit longer, that tear, but who knows?
No,
Anyway,
it's the same as it was.
He's got about 250 metres to the finish.
Running out of pressure a bit.
There, he's gone light again. So he's going to hunt up a bit now.
Amazing, isn't it?
Crew are in. But their lead is so substantial, they've got no problem. There's Noakes Blue that have got themselves into second spot still. And Ilvay third. And then a long gap. Just seeing the distance, the white Spinnaker. Oh no, that's a 29er. There's Noakes Blue, obviously with the blue Spinnaker, and Ilvay. Ilvay got good pressure. Noakes Blue just starting to get that little gust now. They got a really good gust. Noakes Blue putting the bow right down across the front of Ilvay.
But they'll be able to look at what's happened to Royal Oak, in that Royal Oak is now lighter and lifted above, above the finish. They might be well advised to jibe back, actually.
You'd think so, and cover them off. Yeah.
But thinking also that the pressure is on the left looking upwind, yeah?
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Royal Oak is be nervously looking back, but they're starting to run out of gas a bit now. The boat's behind them.
Yeah.
Ilvay's got the bow up, but Noakes Blue hasn't. They've still got plenty.
No, he's riding on the face of a good header.
Yeah, he's closing in, but he's not going to have enough runway. As just watching
maximum wind speed.
Royal Oak have jibed. There they go, and they will cross ahead. Got a good puff there, the Royal Oak, to get the job done.
Yeah, so that's the puff which has been travelling down the course and has caught up to them. They slow down the lull.
Okay, he's about. Oh, he still hasn't got much pressure.
No, plenty coming.
Yeah, he's got enough to win. He's
plenty coming, Pete.
He'll get the job done. Royal Oak.
He's got enough of a pressure header here for a capsize if he's not careful.
Jeez, don't wish that on him.
Have a look at the shape of it.
I know.
But he's just cruising home. It's all right.
So the Royal Oak, that'll be his first win for a while, wouldn't it?
Yep.
I would think.
I would think so.
There he goes. 3, 2, 1, almost there. He's there.
Right, some happy punters on the ferry.
Yes, Royal Oak. Well, a couple of different blokes on the podium today. The Royal Oak first. Noakes Blue will be second. Well done to those two teams. Now the breeze light again. You can see just streaks near that black Spinnaker of Ilvay. So there's Noakes Blue across. Second.
A fairly puzzling day today, Pete, really.
Yeah.
Breeze, wow, with some spottiness and rotation and oscillation and
Bit of everything. Ilvay going down for third.
Yep.
So Royal Oak, a worthy winner of the Alf Beechel Trophy, and the race today brought to you by the Kitchen Maker. They're the sponsors, and the Kitchen Maker themselves will get into fourth position. Or will they? There's
so the
80-footer bar and grill are trying to make things interesting. There's Ilvay just lightly going across.
The Oak will lose a few minutes of their 10-minute handicap. The Kitchen Maker trying to run square. It doesn't work, boys.
No, that's slow. Just got to tickle the bow up. Just the run out of breeze here. You can just see them. They've got nothing.
Got it. Andrew coming in hot. Stay in the wind, boys.
Well, it's easier said than done. Yeah.
It's easy to say here, isn't it?
Very easy from here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So the Kitchen Maker could get clobbered here by both the 18-footer bar and restaurant and Yandu. They've still got about 100 metres down to the line. It's dead downwind, so it's not easy.
And they're stationary.
Yeah. Okay, Ilvay just across in third. And where's the breeze gone?
Well, the cavalry's coming. If you look upwind, Pete, it's...
When you look downwind, there's Balmain Slake and three strings and screaming in. There's just a big void here at the finishing line.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing.
So the usual,
Kitchen maker.
should I say occasional breeze lift off on the leeward edge here. I reckon Yandu will get
he could easily get
the next batch of chocolates, whatever they are.
Balmain
Because
Slake.
Josh and Fang aren't that competitive, though, are they?
No, not at all.
Well, look at Yandu. He's collapsed his chute.
Yeah, a bit of a complete lift off there.
Balmain Slake with the orange chute were flying in three strings. They might have enough impetus to go, but here they come.
Well,
There's Birkenhead Point too.
Balmain Slate might be able to burgle something here by going back on the other jibe.
That's not the finishing mark there. I must point that out. That's the gate. So I've still got about another 50 metres to come down to the finish.
So, folks, if you look back upwind there, I think in the back we can see there Noakes Youth on the other jibe will almost go round this group.
Well, it's a real flat spot. Yandu's going to get this, I think. Loser here's been the kitchen maker. No is the yellow spinnaker of
Yeah, they just found a little bit of pressure.
that Balmain. No, Yandu's going to do this, I think.
Gee, it's close.
Yandu will be fourth, I think.
Yep, he will.
Yandu fourth.
18 footers, Barn Restaurant. Then Birkenhead Point
Birkenhead.
Marina. Balmain
Balmain
Slake, possibly.
And right where we are, the boys on the nose coming in with a bit of a
The Noakes Youth.
flurry.
And poor old kitchen maker, he was going to get fourth, he's now going to get ninth. Oh, that was all happened within 100 metres of the finishing line. God, he was the big loser there.
Well, it's always the wrong answer to put the bat out and try and aim at the finish.
As soon as he did that, he was history, wasn't he?
Yep. You got to, if it's lightened off, jibe back to where the wind is, or heat her up, one or the other. No point trying to run
mixed
square.
sort of day, that's for sure. Not much breeze. Probably the most we saw was 12 knots. Majority of the time was under 10 knots for the second race of the year on a grey Sydney Harbour.
Strange days indeed, Peter.
Indeed they are. Oh, indeed it was.
Quite unusual.
So just watching now, Smeg will be not next to finish. Shaw and Partners will be next. Or maybe Fisher Paykel down to Leeward.
But, Pete, one thing we should mention also is, Yandu, Don Winning, Fang and Josh Perebski, easily the best of the short, handicap boats.
Yes.
And, pretty challenging day. They did pretty well.
Okay, there's Shaw and Partners next. They round off the top 10. And then Fisher Paykel 11th.
With Darren from the Kitchen Maker sailing on board
Right.
Fisher Paykel today.
Bang, there he goes.
He's enjoying himself, he tells me.
Yeah.
And then Simon Nern in the Burrawang, 12th. And then drifting in will be Smeg.
Oh, he's got a little bit of pressure.
Yeah. And they got,
Lazarus Developments in behind them.
yeah. So that,
And the fight for the wooden spoon, who would have thunk?
didn't you tip Andrew?
I did.
How'd they go?
Well, they seem to have failed to get out of the blocks at all.
Out of the blocks, they're last.
They were left in the starting gate, Pete.
They were, but going to that long mark is
no,
very different. Anyway, they won't be too worried. They've got the cobblers out of the system, their first race back, and you'd have to think that as the season goes on, they'll be certainly there or thereabouts. So anyway, I think it's probably time to say good afternoon from the harbour. Second race today of the Alf Bichel Trophy. Just going back, Alex Marinelli in the Royal Oak was first. Noakes Blue, Nathan McNamara second. Ilve third. Cam Gundy and Yandu, John Winning, was fourth. So Royal Oak wins the very prestigious Alf Bichel Trophy. So from a very quiet and grey Sydney Harbour, on behalf of all the Sail Media team, Jimmy and Andrew in commentary and the boys working behind the scenes to bring this to you, we hope you've enjoyed it. It's another race done and dusted, and we'll see you at the same time, same place on Sydney Harbour next Sunday. This is Peter Shipway on behalf of everyone saying a very good afternoon to you, and look forward to your company next week.